Well, everybody, it is once again Sunday Night Live with Material Issues. And I can say good evening. It's early evening here in South Jersey, much later in the evening in Inverness, Scotland, where the globetrotting David Bash of the International Pop Overthrow is currently residing. And David, it's good to see you. Finishing up IPO Glasgow in
you
Scotland.
too, Mark. And when you say residing, you're not wrong. The Rena booked us an apartment hotel here in Inverness, and it is. I've never been in a bigger hotel room than this. I mean,
well, you need a big hotel room for all of your purchases. You probably
that's
have
true.
A whole
I barely have room
for
the
vinyl.
records. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's really great. Just so much space. 2 bathrooms.
More room for
1 bedroom, 2
activities.
bathrooms. Never seen that before. But a huge living room, and also a balcony, which is also huge. The only thing, for whatever reason, it's actually pretty warm. It was actually pretty warm in here, but I have the balcony door open and hoping that a seagull doesn't fly in, because we are right near the Ness River. But yeah, this is a kind of community where I think I could retire. It's really beautiful, very peaceful. There are enough amenities around here too. Yeah, I mean,
that's the first time I've ever heard you talk about retiring.
Well, no, I don't plan to retire anytime soon.
Hey, Tyler, how you doing?
Tyler, I don't plan to retire anytime soon, but and it's really a pipe dream anyway. I don't see myself realistically being able to retire here, but if I could, this would be on the short list of places that I would choose to retire. And again, I'm saying that rather prematurely. And yes, prematurely is my middle name. Don't spread it around.
He's here all night, 2 shows.
But yeah, so I don't know it. I mean, well, I know a few people here. The band Iodines, who came to play IPO Glasgow's from here. But I mean, I get the sense that people are really nice. Hey, yeah, I guess you've been here. It really is lovely, Andy. I had no idea just how lovely it was until we got here. So anyway, tomorrow we plan on, I always say we plan, but we are taking a tour of Loch Ness and hopefully seeing Nessie. Even if we don't, I'm going to say we did. And yeah, so yeah, looking forward to that, and having a nice dinner, and then tomorrow, Tuesday early morning, getting our flight from Inverness to Heathrow, and then from Heathrow back to LA. Anyway, IPO Glasgow went really well.
Right, great.
I mean, I can't say the attendance was where I would have liked it to be, but it's not a bad start, and the venue's pretty small, so I mean, there were times during the night where it looked kind of empty, but there were also times where it didn't. And yeah, I all in all, I was pretty happy with how things went, and the bands were wonderful. Glasgow record shopping was great. I mean, not Stockholm great, but really good. And one of the places we went is the Combination label record store last night from Glasgow. And the woman who was running it was really nice to us. Rena had picked out 7 CDs from the label. She was ready to pay for them. And because I bought a few expensive things, the woman just gave Rena the CDs and threw in a bunch of stuff from the label for me too, including this T-shirt. Right. It's the 10th anniversary T-shirt of Last Night from Glasgow. It's got a list of a bunch of their bands on the back. So I just thought I'd wear it in tribute to them. This is a label that they have some pretty cool bands on there. One of them is the 80s band, the Bluebells, who are still around. If you remember them, they have a brand new album, and it's good. Yeah. I'm definitely going to play something from it next time we do that. But let me show you some of the stuff I picked up in Glasgow. I'm showing you this because we had this gentleman as a guest, but I never even knew this album existed. The Walter Egan Interview album.
Okay.
It's
all right.
It's for promotion use only, not for sale. It's a German copy. I don't know if it ever came out in the U.S., even as a promo. Oh, okay, that's good to know. I'm sure we'll end up seeing it on our tour tomorrow. Anyway, yeah. So there's a bunch of interviews with him, and I think maybe some songs in between. So I've got to take a photo of this and send it to him. Maybe he doesn't even know.
He probably doesn't even know it exists. Yeah.
But yeah, here's some stuff I got. The expensive stuff I got were test pressings at. I love test pressings, as you know, and one of my favorite albums a couple of years ago was by Marco Rossi, and this is a test pressing of his. I sent a photo of it to him, and he said, "I don't even have one." Here's a test pressing of the reissue of the Trash Can Sinatra's Cake album.
Wow.
If you remember that album, it was really good. And I also picked up from there a couple of albums by a really cool punk pop band that from back in the day, The Boys.
Oh yeah, is that is Kleenex on there?
Kleenex is not on either of these albums.
Okay.
Wait, no, not on either of them. I know they have a third album, but they didn't have
that might have been on the Gen X album. Sorry, Kleenex on Gen X.
Okay, yeah, not here, but I have some reissues and I really like them, but I never did get any originals. And this one actually has the original booklet in it, which you don't see very often. So I had to go for them and a few other things. But if we didn't have a guest, I would I'd go more into that. I also, of course, couldn't resist. And Glasgow Central is watch heaven. There are watch stores everywhere.
It's dangerous for you.
Either from the brands or independent watch stores that sell several brands. And I had to pick up this Norcane. It's called Freedom 60. This should be a watch that you have because its motto is enjoy life.
There you go.
And so they say watch collecting, it's a serious hobby, but you could also have some fun with it. And the fun thing about this watch is on the 1st, 8th, 15th, and 22nd, instead of the date showing, there's an ice cream cone.
Nice.
In the date window, because they're trying to say to you, just, take time to have an ice cream and enjoy life.
That's right.
So in fact, in about 50 minutes,
you're going to have
an ice cream cone in the date window. They actually have a variety of this watch, which either in blue or in strawberry color, which has sprinkles in it. I thought that was a little too silly to go for.
Yeah.
So I went for this one, and I have not been able to take it off my wrist. So
I love
this
it.
one is now in my faves. Let's see what. So we'll do this before we have our guest. We bring.
I was telling them about it with pre-show.
So I might have to get a little bit more soda after eating this, but as you told me, one of the things you were hoping I would find for you in the UK were Worcestershire flavor potato chips.
Yeah,
something I've never seen in the US. Lo and behold, here they are, which I found these in Scotland, not in Liverpool or anywhere else in the UK, but Scotland. Walker's Lee and Parent Worcestershire sauce flavor.
All right.
I don't even know if I like Worcestershire sauce, but we're going to find out right now.
My mouth is watering right now. It's one of my favorite things.
I'm going to taste one of these and see how we do.
Drum roll. Yeah, tangy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Admittedly, not really strong.
Okay. So not a lot of chemical powder on it, yeah.
But you can definitely taste it. So if you like Worcestershire, I'm sure you're gonna love these. So I have a couple of bags with your name on it.
Right. So I was gonna say you're not gonna send me the bag you just opened up. That would go stale. So
yeah, no, I have two unopened bags, which will stay unopened until you open them.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Thank you, my friend. Worcestershire
My pleasure.
potato chips. because the UK singer Adele, when she couldn't find them, she would take a bag of plain chips, dump Worcestershire sauce in, and shake the bag.
Oh, Adele really likes
Yeah.
the flavor also?
Yes, she's a Worcestershire potato chip fan. So
Nice.
that's where I found out about it, through Adele. Surprisingly.
Oh, wow. Well, at least she's good for something. Anyway. So it's been a while since we've had guests on the program.
Yep.
And it's great that we have these particular people, a 4-piece band that you and I have known and loved for many, many years.
That's deep.
Did they release something on Pop Detective?
Well, sort of. We branded it. We branded Suckers on their album on Pop Detective, basically to get Little Steven's attention, because I had his attention, and thankfully, wonderfully, it worked out. So they weren't officially a Pop Detective artist, but what we did worked in their favor. So it was fantastic.
Well, they certainly deserve all the success they get, and Wicked Cool showed their usual good taste by signing them.
Yep.
There's a band out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. They've been around now for years, about 30, I believe.
Really? They don't look that old.
And they were, if you subtract their age from when they were born, that will not get us into the 18th.
That will not get us to Please Please Me.
No, it won't. That's all inside for anyone who hasn't seen the meme yet. But they, I guess they have 8 albums now.
Could be. I don't know if we count what was the first one called? I forget. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with the free. Yeah, probably 8. Yeah, including
the latest one, Dreaming in Stereo on Wicked Cool, which came out a little over a year ago and did very well on my year-end list, as their albums usually do. They've played IPO a few times, including the one year we did it in Youngstown, Ohio, which was great that they came from Pennsylvania to do that. But now they're live from Pennsylvania they're about to be actually on our program. So without further ado, would you please give a huge Material Issues welcome to the Jellybricks?
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my God, you've got chips also. Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg what? Barbecue?
For wrap snacks here.
Sour cream.
Yeah, so if you're watching Snoop,
we're eating your chips.
Snoop Dogg.
Now you're gonna, and Wicked Cool and Snoop are gonna have to compete for your contract.
Yeah.
We don't think he has a Worcestershire sauce variety.
No, he probably doesn't.
Nice. I love it. Well, left to right, Bryce Connor's back in the corner.
Hi guys.
Down front, Larry Kennedy, guitar player as well. Back and back, my old friend Tommy Christis. I've seen you around in many Philadelphia incarnation bands as well. So, and then Garrick Chow, bottom right corner, bass player extraordinaire. These are the Jellybricks, and as David said, we've kind of known you guys. It seems like forever, and
well, and actually, when David said we're years old, about 30, we are literally 30 this year, and
happy anniversary.
Thank you. And we played, I believe, the first IPO in Los Angeles. So our relationship with you is really got some legs on it at this point.
No, it really does. And it's been great, watching you guys grow as people and as a band. And now the success being signed to Wicked Cool, which so many pop bands dream about achieving, and you actually have. So kudos.
Well, I have to I have to say, regarding what Mark was saying about our relationship with Pop Detective Records, to be fair, Mark, you actually also have your logo on the Youngstown Tune-Up album that followed Suckers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And while we were interlopers, we did consider ourselves to be Pop Detective Records artists.
Oh, yes, so we're kind of bummed to hear we weren't.
Well, no, I mean, you were, but there was no grand signing deal or anything. We just kind of scratched each other's backs, and you were on the, you played some of the Pop Detective Roadshow shows, which was a lot of fun. Oh my God. And with the Dahlmans and the Deadbeat Poets and all that kind of stuff. Willie Wisely was on that thing for a while. And we had a bunch of guys on the road.
Willie will be a guest of ours in a few weeks.
That's awesome.
Celebrating his 30th anniversary of the She album.
Yeah, we had a wonderful, that was like a little adventure we had with Willie, because we haven't seen him since nor before, but I remember we gave him a ride in our van on our way out of New York.
He's a character. He is a character. But now, hey, listen, in my heart, you're always Pop Detective artist, but technically no, but yes, I love you guys, and the fact that you were a part of my experience was just wonderful as well. And of course, we tie in with the guys from Deadbeat Poets in Youngstown area because of Larry's history, and but talking of history, many times we have a solo artist or a member of some band here, we ask them about what they got into growing up. We got 4 of you now, so we probably won't waste time saying how did you learn how to play guitar, but I'd love to hear the story about how Larry gets from Youngstown and gathers everybody together in, was it Mechanicsburg? Was that the general locale? Because we hear you're a Harrisburg band right now. We hear you're a Harrisburg
say
band.
Harrisburg because nobody knows Mechanicsburg, and people barely know Harrisburg. So
Yeah. Well, from my perspective, I had come down to Harrisburg because I have a cousin who lives in this area. My cousin Steve Yannick is also a singer-songwriter, and he had invited me to come here to record some demos because he had accrued some studio time that he hadn't gotten around to using. And I had just finished up playing with a band out in the Youngstown area and was just searching for my next musical place to play. And this opportunity to come make these demos came up at a studio where Garrick happened to be an engineer. And he wasn't there when I was working there, but I left town with a set of demos that had everything on them except bass guitar.
All right.
And Garrick, I'll let you take over there.
and then I played bass on them.
And the rest is history.
How did you guys, I mean, you've been asked this a million times. Hey, there you go. Indeed, they do. You've been asked this a million times, so we'll make it 1,000,001. How did you guys come up with the name the Jellybricks? Did it have anything to do with jellyfish or complete coincidence?
It actually had nothing to do with jellyfish and nothing to do with us, really. A good friend of ours, Reg Troop, great drummer from this area for decades now. He, in the studio, kind of, I think, just jokingly said, "What about the Jellybricks?" And we were like, "Okay."
Well, we were looking for a name that would be 2 sides of a coin so that we could kind of have a range. I remember at the time I was a bit preoccupied with not wanting our band to be pigeonholed style wise. So I was looking for a name that would really give us a lot of room to play in. And I had a name that nobody liked. So Jellybricks was suggested instead. And I will say, when I first heard it, one of the thoughts I had was, yeah, but there's jellyfish.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, it's different. It's different. So, and eventually we covered a jellyfish song just to sort of indicate, like, we do know, that there's a band named Jellyfish. But
and a lot of people refer to you guys as, of course, the Bricks.
Yeah.
But not the Jellies. So,
No.
Yeah, jellies doesn't roll off the tongue like the bricks.
We like to say, "Sweet like jelly, hits you like a brick." That's kind
There
of
you go.
And
Actually, I think that's the perfect slogan for the sound that you have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
actually really good. Did you
Okay.
just come up with that, Bryce? Was that just right now?
No, that's been around for 20
Okay, all right, because that was really good. I always wondered why you guys weren't throwing actual little styrofoam bricks from the stage to hit people with.
That's a fantastic idea.
I think it is, yeah.
A quick story for you. We played a show at the Hard Rock Cafe in New York, in Times Square, which was, and I know I'm jumping around here, but when we put our first single out on Wicked Cool Records, little Steven hadn't seen the band live yet and wanted to see us on stage. So they actually arranged this single release party so he could see us play. And by the time we got to do the show, it had turned into a live stream broadcast that was going to be on the internet and on the radio. Steven was going to be in our audience. We were basically ready to jump off a bridge with nerves by the time the show arrived. And then they added Drew Carey as an MC character.
Wow.
So when we get to the venue and I meet Drew Carey, I got to do a quick interview with him on the radio, which was awesome. But when he's talking to me about the name, the Jellybricks, he says to me in a moment of lull, have you guys ever thought about building like a wall of bricks and then like bursting through it like the Kool-Aid Man, like Jellybricks?
There's a lot of ways you can go with that. Yeah. No, I love it. So you guys get together. Well, Garrick drops bass on your demos. What evolves after that? How does this then start to develop into Jellybricks?
Well, I was kind of between bands myself at the time, and I just really loved the songs that Larry brought to the studio, and they really were pretty much right down my alley. So I gave him a call. Well, first off, I called and asked for permission to put the bass on the tracks, and it just was such a great fortuitous thing that there wasn't any bass. So Larry seemed to like what I played, and we just got to talking on the phone a couple times, and I just invited him down. I said, hey, if you're looking to put together a band, I've got some other players in the area that we could probably form together to make this band. And to his credit, he took the leap.
And that's how it happened. Was Bryce your first choice? I mean,
I'll say yes.
I don't know what it is.
Choice.
There was a lot. Yeah, there was a lot in that statement right there.
I like
Bryce and I have been playing together since high school. We were both in our first high school band together. We played in bands together all through college. So yeah, it was a sort of a natural thing to just always be in a band together.
Well, they also went to kindergarten together. Nursery school. Yeah. So, I mean, they're like the closest thing to like Buckingham Nicks in our band in a way.
And I will say that Garrick was the third choice for bass in the first high school band. He was third choice.
There you go. Touche.
But from my perspective, Garrick did sell me on the idea of Bryce and our first drummer, Lane, as hypotheticals. He just said, I know a guy, he's got drums, and he has a place where we could practice. And I know a guy who plays guitar, and he has a van. I mean, that was literally how he... and they both can sing. And I was like, okay, well, he didn't really leave anything out. So I guess I'll go see how this turns out, because I loved his bass play. That was instant for me.
And Tommy, were you in that area generally, or were you involved with people closer Philadelphia prior to getting into the Jellybricks, or did your relationship with John Fay and Cliff and all these guys happen after that?
All that stuff happened because I was in the Jellybricks.
Okay.
So yeah, the Ike stuff and kind of the relationship I had with that band and the Philadelphia music scene happened because I was in the Jellybricks. Yeah.
Well, and actually, we could say our friendship with John Fay and Cliff Hillis and all of those people started with IPO. Right. We started meeting those people. I think we met John Fay for the first time in an airport.
Yeah,
probably. And I remember Anna Borg picked us up at an airport in Nashville and introduced us to Cliff Hillis when he was still sleeping in a hotel room bed.
He was like, hey.
Yeah, but anyway, Tommy joined the band. Well, there's a story involving our first drummer where he basically started having trouble sleeping on the road, and after a prolonged period of having to take time away from the band, he decided that he wasn't able to come back to the position, and Tom happened to show up at the first show we had to play without a drummer and jumped up on stage and started playing congas with us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like rock and roll fantasy type of thing where, you show up at a gig and someone says, is there a drummer in the house? So a mutual friend, Larry and I had, named Jason Paparella, took me out one night to go see the Jellybricks play. And yeah, it was literally the first show that Lane was not playing the show, and they were playing acoustic. And they had a break. We started chatting, and I mentioned that, oh, I play drums, and all of a sudden the manager of the club, a guy named Ray Rossi, he just disappears, and he rolls back in with conga drums and shakers and tambourines. It's like, here, you can play these. And Larry and Garrick and Bryce were like, well, Kenny, I don't know if this guy can play. And it was a Wednesday night, wasn't it? So they just said, you know what, let's let this guy come up here and play.
Turns out he could not play them, but that's beside the point.
But I took lessons, and the next week I came back and I was so good.
Within a week you're a killer. Yeah.
We hit it off, and they said, we have a gig next Wednesday doing the same thing. Why don't you come back again? And that turned into a gig I did, I think, almost maybe like a month with you guys. And then at one point, Larry calls me and says, hey, we have a show coming up, and we can absolutely not play this with bongo drums. We have to play it with a drum set, and it's tonight. And do you think you could maybe learn the songs and play them tonight on stage with no rehearsal? And I said, of course I can do that. And that afternoon I said, I don't know these songs that well. Just kind of like made a bunch of notes on the set list. And then we went and we played the show with no rehearsal. And it went so well that they said, maybe we should have you come back again, Tom. And that went through.
True.
There was like a little bit of a period of time when there were other drummers auditioning, and I was moving to Cleveland. And then I eventually moved back and joined the band at the end of 1999. So I'm still the new guy after
27 years.
7 years. That's right.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to remember this, David, because you've seen so many bands at so many IPOs, but we played an LA IPO right in the middle of that, where John Patwara, the drummer from Paranoid Lovesick, actually filled in for us at the El Rey Theater, because we were in between.
So you guys were on one of the El Rey bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have loved you to put you on one of those bills.
That was amazing.
You were very kind. It was with
Kara's Flowers.
Kara's Flowers.
Oh, yeah.
The Tories were on there.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And what was
It was an amazing time, believe me.
What was Jason Schwartzman's band? Phantom
Planet.
Phantom
was on
Planet,
that
yeah.
bill.
Wow, what a bill.
Thanks
Yeah,
a
that
lot for
was
that, David. That was
Kara's
amazing.
Flowers and Phantom Planet on the same bill, and you guys. Yeah, that was quite a time in the late '90s in LA. So a newbie like me who had no experience doing festivals was able to go in and get a club like the El Rey, and they did a rental. They didn't do a door deal, but their fee was very reasonable for a club that size, like half the price of the Troubadour, for
Nice.
example.
Wow.
Which we ended up using the Troubadour
Also play.
when I had Jason Faulkner playing, so I knew that I could at least recover what I put in. But this was 1998, 99, when we were all young and people were going out. We didn't have the kind of options that we did. No social media yet.
No streaming platforms to
no
watch
streaming.
movies.
DVDs were just coming out at that time. People were young and they were going out, and it was great. I mean, the first few years of IPO, we mostly had packed shows. Even at the El Rey, we had, and Kara's Flowers were so nice to play 3 in a row. They never asked for a dime from us.
Wow.
And it's not like they needed the exposure either. In LA, they were already pretty big. Now, of course, nobody knew what they were going to become.
Right.
But I remember the third year they played IPO, they had the 5th member, and they're doing these new songs, and we're all looking at each other like, what the hell are they doing? What are they doing here? This stuff is so commercial. It's so different from what they had done. And then, within a couple of months, they were Maroon 5, and the rest was history. And, a lot of people say things about Adam Levine. The Adam Levine I knew was a really nice guy. I mean, I didn't know him well, and he's not the one I communicated with in the band, but he was always nice to me. So
Well,
I
you
can-
know,
okay.
because I'll let you talk too, Bryce. But
Oh, thanks, Larry. I
Well,
really
I-
appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I'll let you finish.
Well, I was going to say it is one of those, like, you know, IPO provided the Jellybricks with a lot of great experiences and actually helped to build our career significantly. But some of those personal memories that we carry that most people don't know about would be like I've impressed more than one person with just the side note that, oh yeah, I met Adam Levine when he was a high school student and I helped him carry his amp to his hatchback because that happened at that show. Sorry, go ahead, Bryce.
I was just I remember that. That was cool. I was gonna say Larry and I got the chance to talk with Adam just very briefly, like at somewhere between sets or whatever. He was super nice.
Yeah, you
And
are.
they did a cover of
Baba
Baba
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. That's the first time we ever heard a band cover it, and we were like, "This is super cool. I think we should do this." And now we've been playing that song for like 27 years.
Oh, really?
Because we
Wow.
saw them do it. Yeah, we closed a lot of sets with it, but that's really stuck out. But he was super cool. I forgot he was a teenager. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, they all were, I think.
Yeah, they were talking at the time. They were wondering if they should go to college and just give this music stuff up, or and just go into the corporate world, or give it a go. And they made the right choice.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of coverage, you guys obviously with 8 albums and a lot of coolest songs and stuff you've had over the years, you still pull out great covers whenever you play live. And I love your version of "I've Done Everything for You, You've Done Nothing for Me," the Rick Springfield stuff. And you pick out some little gems like that and pull them out. I love what you do, because what's great about you guys is you've got 4 really good vocalists in the band. And that doesn't happen all the time. And even Tommy sitting back there in the drums is a fantastic vocalist. He's just really busy. So
Right.
I'm very busy.
You are busy, and it's like sometimes, sometimes I know you do a lot of background vocals and things.
Yeah, I'm busy.
You're busy. You're a busy guy. But you do. You guys have great harmonies. You blend really well. Besides the fact that you have a very powerful power pop kind of sound.
Well, that's the thing. Power pop is one of those terms. We could go on and on about this, and we do ad nauseum in social media, but no one really knows what power pop is exactly. And people don't necessarily know what it isn't either. But I can say this much. You guys are the ultimate definition of power pop. Power and pop. There's no question about it. And I'll also say this: you're one of the tightest bands that we've had at IPO.
Wow.
It's
Well,
really obvious that
that's huge
guys
coming
are
from you.
Precision incarnate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I will just speak to this briefly. We've over the years we've seen the writing about our records where occasionally it felt like people were debating whether we were power pop. It took a while for us to figure out that that's just part and parcel of power pop world is the ongoing debate about whether things are power pop or not. But it's a huge compliment, particularly coming from you, David, because I know you take it seriously, your knowledge of the subject.
But so if people were debating as to whether you were power pop, what was it that they thought you might be?
Garage rock, regular rock and
Yeah, I
roll.
think there was
Garage rock?
Yeah,
No, I don't see that.
I've seen you described as alt rock too. I don't get the alt rock.
We were alternative rock when we started, apparently, but we've never really been that concerned with the label. And I think we've written some power pop songs, but I don't think we necessarily set out to write in a particular genre.
Well, maybe not that. And also some of your more popular songs. Although I never considered "Rock and Roll Suicide" as just a power pop song. That had a little bit more going on to it than just straight up power chords and harmonies. And so I think you tiptoe around the edge of it. But then
Almost
you got
every band. I mean, there are very few bands out there for whom you can say every song is power pop.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're talking Badfinger, Raspberries, Big Star, all of them. They all have songs that don't fit that genre clearly.
Truly.
I don't think anybody's writing for the label of power pop, but if you write a song that happens to fall into that bucket, then that's great.
Well,
But here's the thing, though. back when you guys started years ago, power pop, at that point, people were still trying to get signed to major labels. And if you were a young band, you had a shot. The labels were still around, and they were going out actively looking. Back then, though, the label power pop was absolute anathema. You did not want to be called that. And so many bands who clearly were power pop back then went out of their way to say, no, we're not. Don't, like labels, don't worry about it. We're not retro. We're not Beatlesque. We actually have lives. We have girlfriends. So don't worry. You can sign us, and people will like us, and you'll sell records. Even the Tories had that problem too, and that one of the things that did that, and you brought them up.
They were great.
They're the one band. They're the one LA band I can say that had everything going for them, and everything but luck and timing.
I remember when
the problem was their name suggested Britpop, and that was another thing that was anathema in the later '90s because people thought, well, Oasis is done. That whole genre's done. We want nothing to do with that anymore. And so the Tories actually changed their name to Headset for a few months. In fact, on IPO Volume 2, Volume 3, our third compilation, it's the only track by them that is listed as Headset. And then they do the IPO show and they said, we're the Tories again. Headset didn't last. But they did eventually sign to a label that didn't know what to do with them, and because they were more of a jazz label, and their career fizzled, and it never should. They did get the Jesse theme song, so good on them. I hope they're getting nice residuals on that. But they had everything but luck. But you guys being called alt rock at the time, that was a good thing.
Well, that was a pigeonhole in its own too. I think it was at the El Rey Theater show. It was kind of a showcase for us. There were some label people there, and the message we got back after that from our manager was they kept asking, "Do you have another song like Who Is God?" which was our biggest song at the time. So that kind of pigeonholed us as well.
Yeah, it's weird. We had, when you speak about that time period and the major labels still being a shot, we actually we had enough radio play on a single off of our first album, Kinky Boot Beast, to actually find ourselves in one of those big fancy boardrooms up at Universal Music in New York City.
Oh, wow.
And we had a meeting. One of the times we came out for IPO, we were supposed to meet with somebody at one of the majors, and that fell through for some reason. But long story short, they were nice to us and they smiled at us. But I remember us being asked about our single. So who in your band is sleeping with the program director at this station? And I remember just feeling incensed at the time. I think I said, doesn't anybody play a record because they like it anymore? And I kind of suspected right away. It's like the business was so cynical, even at that point, that I felt we were misunderstood for where we were at in our career at that time. But I'm not sorry for how things have gone, because what's so strange about the long haul story of the Jellybricks is that we saw a lot of bands get major label deals during that time period, and many of them are gone. And we only are still together, but we still have the integrity of what we're trying to do being what we want to do.
Yeah.
So no, that's very true, because most of the ones that did get signed, when they got signed, they thought we've made it. We've grabbed the brass ring. And then they found out that once their record didn't sell like the label thought it would, they were suddenly the forgotten men, and they were no longer promoted. The label didn't give a shit about them, and then they ended up being dropped and owing money back, because they didn't know that the money they spent on the road was something that wasn't really theirs. It was just loaned to them. And so when you've gone up to that level and you think it's going to be something and then it's not, you get disillusioned.
Sure.
And then you may call it a day. While if you stay at a reasonable level, you think, all right, good, people like us, they're appreciating what we're doing, let's keep doing it. So that in a way, I'm sorry that I never saw a Universal or a CBS imprint on any of your records. But at the same time, if I had, as good as you were, you probably would have been dropped after the first record. Look,
It's
No
probably
no
true.
disrespect intended. Karis Flowers was dropped after their first record.
Yep. That's
Their
a crime.
second album came out as a complete independent. They were on Reprise, and that they didn't sell enough and gone. So a lot of great bands were, but what happened to a lot of them? They got disillusioned and called it a day, and you didn't. So
27 to 30 years ago, when you guys were starting out, did you ever imagine that you'd be receiving Central Pennsylvania Music Hall of Fame awards?
oh wow,
Last year when
congratulations.
Thank you.
you got Best Music Video last year, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Best alt rock band.
There you go.
Yeah.
That was pretty impressive right there. And Album of the Year.
The big one.
That's the
Well,
big one.
Well, I'll just say David was referring to how some of the bands who got major label deals then found themselves unwanted and abandoned. We had a sort of a feeling like that about where we lived briefly when we no longer had a hit single on the local radio, and the radio stations started being taken over by larger corporate entities, and they stopped playing as much regional music. We had the experience in our own home region of having people think we broke up because they weren't hearing us on the radio
Oh
anymore.
wow.
But to have lived to the point that now our home region is showing us this kind of appreciation and love is spectacular to us emotionally, I would say.
Gotta stick around. Gotta stick around to make it happen.
But yeah, that's not a sob story, but it really did happen. I remember a period where we were like, what band do you play? And the Jellybricks. Oh, I thought you guys broke up years ago.
Wow.
You're like, dude, we played 20 shows last month. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But that's really cool. The recognition. And like you said, Album of the Year. There's a lot of talent in Central Pennsylvania. There's been a history of a lot of talent in Central Pennsylvania. So to be recognized in 2025 for that kind of thing is a pretty cool honor. Pretty cool honor, and well deserved. Well
Thank you.
deserved.
Man. Thank you.
Thank you.
One of my favorite bands out of Central Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure there was Cherry Twister.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you are you guys still in touch with Steve Ward? What's he doing?
Yes,
these
sir.
days?
Yes, sir.
I'm all three of them. We talked to all three of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Ross Sackler, their
Yeah.
drummer, is a friend,
Just
and
texted with him yesterday.
Michael Giblin, of course. We still play
Saw him
shows.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we still get to play with the Split Squad once in a while. And Steve, the last time I saw Steve, we were just hanging out at his house, Bryce and
Yeah,
I.
that's fun.
Yeah.
And tour.
But I think Steve is always working on something new. Like, I think there's always
I
going
hope
to be
so.
something.
Yeah, actually, I know from talking to our friend Ross that I know that Steve is still creating new music. Yeah,
I
He's
sure hope
genius
so. What
for
a
sure.
talent!
heard by people, but I know that he's creating new music. He's a
Mhm.
very creative person, and we were always big fans of.
Well, while we're talking about Album of the Year, Dreaming in Stereo, talk about the title of that. And of course, the song was written by Bryce. And how does that turn into the album cover and the idea that you're laying on a bed with speakers in a field or what that was? Talk about the evolution of that track and that album.
I think we went back and forth a little bit on like what would be a good title track. Do we have to have a title track? And there were like a few in the running, I think maybe. Larry will correct me, but I think that just ended up being the
Can I
title we
give
liked.
away what our jokey title was going to be?
Oh, we have a jokey title? Okay, go.
Well, we had an idea. We put timpani on a few songs. And so for a while we were hatching an idea for an album cover where we were going to get two timpani drums and put a bunch of like food on top of them and sit around them and call our record Breakfast at Timpani's.
Oh.
Yeah.
David's like, no, don't do that.
No. Well, I think Dreaming in Stereo was probably a little bit better.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
I would have probably corrected it and gone with Breakfast on Timpanis.
Yeah.
Well, see, we always have titles like this that we laugh all the way to the finish line and not use. So
Well, guys, and Bryce, it's a great track. So if you don't mind, I would love to pop up the album cover and play "Dreaming in Stereo," written by Bryce Connor.
And we would love to let you.
There we go. And let's let everybody hear the Jellybrick here on Material Issues. This is Bryce Connor and the title track, "Dreaming in Stereo," on Material Issues. Here we go. Bump 2, 3, 4.
Stereo. The sound was amazing in my head. It felt like a movie. The cast was a perfect match. They were so well read. And how can it be? Does it really have to end? Now can't you see? You shouldn't shake me. Please don't wake me. Stereo, please don't wake me. Don't shake me. Dreaming in stereo, please don't wake me. Don't shake me. I was feeling plot-filled, and the words cut in like knives. All of the seats were filled. It was the story of our lives. How can it be? Does it really have to end? Now can't you see? You shouldn't shake me. Please don't wake me. Dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. Dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. Time slips by. And I don't care. Daylight slides. And I'm nowhere. Let me see. Dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. I was dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. Dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. I was dreaming in stereo. Please don't wake me. Don't shake me. Please don't wake me. Please don't wake me.
Boy, if that isn't alt rock, I don't know what is. I mean,
That is as pure power pop as it gets. I gotta ask you, who is it in the bed in the picture who's dreaming in stereo?
You
oh,
want to take that one, Garrick?
You take it.
Oh, it's just a longtime friend of ours, Joellen Terranova. To go back to answer your question about the album covers, I generally like to build things for our album covers, like make some real objects and photograph them. So the idea was basically just to have like an action. So that actually is it almost looks AI because we're so used to that these days, but that actually is in a real field, surrounded by real speakers. We actually have those lights plugged into a little battery so they're bright and yeah.
Lots of real mud.
We had
Oh, yeah.
to walk through this very
Marshy
marshy
land.
land And my wife helped us with the shoot. We blew up that air mattress and then put the sheets down and brought tables and all the speakers out. And then we had everything sort of set up for our friend Joe Ellen just to kind of like quickly climb in to the bed. I'm not sure I think her shoes got ruined too, walking in there. And then and then we had we held up lights and we had our friend come in there and take photos.
Is that in Harrisburg?
It's in the Hershberger area, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the stereo speakers you're looking at are vintage speakers that belong to Bryce's dad and to my dad. So those are.
It's actually kind of cool. Yeah, like the ones on the outside were the first Boston Acoustics that my dad bought for me.
Oh, nice.
They were a great brand in the 70s.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Totally. And now they're hollowed out. I use them as you can hide stuff in them. There's no speakers anymore. The other ones were my dad's Infinities from later on. So it was kind of cool to have.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great track, Bryce. What was the impetus? What was the influence? Where did Dreaming in Stereo come from?
Well, I was telling the Mighty Manfred this about a year ago too. We were talking about it a little bit, and I have these. I don't know how to explain it. These dreams that are so elaborate, and there could be, they last for like seemingly for days, and there's like hundreds of people and things from my past, and they're like movie plots, and there's all these crazy things, and I can never verbalize them. I know what they are, but I could never write it down. It's too complex. It's too, I don't know. It's weird, and it happens like every night. It's crazy. I don't get it. No, I don't want medication. I'm good. That's why. That's where it comes from.
It's nice, and it had a good run on Underground Garage. It was a coolest song, right? How many coolest songs off this album have you had?
I believe it was 2,
4, 3.
We had a couple singles off this record that got a lot of airplay, but I think we got coolest songs for Age of Stupid and Dreaming in Stereo.
Right, yeah.
We also are incredibly lucky that an album cycle is normally whatever length it is, but we had singles released from this album over a year before it came out, so we got a very long album cycle on this last one because we had from when the first singles came out to when the album came out, and then singles after the album was released.
Yeah,
so we were very lucky that we were able to kind of make it last a little bit.
How did you get connected with Little Steven?
Well, it really does. I don't want to bore everybody with the Ohio connection, but Mark and I can jam on this for a second because it's pretty cool and pretty true. I'd been listening to the station and to the radio show and hearing what I thought of as a lot of our fellow IPO bands getting airplay, and kept thinking, I think maybe they would play us if they're playing the Mockers. I was hearing Cotton Mather,
Chevelle's.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I got to thinking, well, we had sent a couple things, and I was talking to Kid Leo because he's a Cleveland guy,
right.
And I heard him playing The Wanderers, which was a Stiv Bators band that I didn't know about.
Oh, wow.
So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, this is Stiv Bators, but I don't know this band. And anyway, I thought maybe he would take an interest in the Jellybricks, but what I learned in short order is that basically Steven Van Zandt is the final word on everything that goes on the air. He has to like it and sign off on it.
Yep.
And so we put 2 records on their plate that didn't get any love. And then the Deadbeat Poets had a coolest song in the world with the Staircase Stomp.
Right.
And I was just so thrilled because it goes back to my Youngstown roots. Frank Sessich is hero to me. The members of the Infidels are heroes to me. These guys comprised what made up the Deadbeat Poets, along with Terry Hartman at the time. And nevertheless, I was really happy for them. So I just was, how did you guys get on the radio? And it turned out for them, in a lot of cases, it was happenstance too. I think right place, right time for that song. Steven was doing a show tied into the Staircase Stomp storyline.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, eventually I was just talking to Mark and saying, we would really love to get on Little Steven's channel, but so far nothing's happened. And I don't know if you suggested it or if I did, but the thought was, well, why don't we put it out on Pop Detective? Because
we had a conversation, and I had Steven's ear with Vivica, and then the Deadbeat Poets and a few things. And once you get his ear, that's the important thing. As you said, he's the end all and be all, the say of what happens when it comes to coolest songs in the world.
Mhm.
And so I had his ear. Everything I was sending went directly to him, and I was having a string of coolest songs. And I loved you guys. And I said, listen, not for nothing, but maybe if I put the Pop Detective stamp on it, it'll get in Steven's hands, and he'll listen to it. And I think that's exactly how it happened.
We love you, Mark. We love you very much.
I love you back. I mean, not only love your music, but I love you guys just as guys. And the Pop Detective Roadshow was a great time, and anytime I've seen you, it's great. So to help out.
We love staying in your house too. That was cool. Thank you for letting us do that.
Mhm.
That was very nice of you as well.
Yeah. I've had some interesting house guests over the years. My daughter's claim to fame is that Robbie Riss slept in her bed.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. All right.
And I've been a guest, not an interesting one, but I've been a guest.
Well, it's an interesting. This is a great time to bring this up, David. You have like a regular background, and so do we here. But like, Mark, how is life on the UFO there that you're living in? I see over your left shoulder. It looks like you're about to be.
No, I've already been abducted. I'm not actually on the planet Earth right
your house. Like, look at it. Look at the background there.
Yeah, I've been abducted. I don't actually live on the planet anymore, which is why I'm in such a good mood.
Oh, lucky you.
That's an old pachinko machine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know how my finger goes there, but
What's that? What is that? What's a pachinko machine?
it was like they were like Japanese gambling parlors where these like a million little balls kind of go, and the more balls you won, the more you could train it in for money. I don't know, but that's what that is. It's a pachinko.
Wow.
That's how the world works.
but that's the bottom line. Yeah, you guys. I just put my stamp on it. But if the tune "Rock and Roll Suicide" wasn't as good as it was, Steven wasn't going to play it. So it's your tune and your hard work and your doing that really did it. I just
Thank you, brother.
I just happened to
Thank
be
you.
the conduit briefly.
I will say I wore my Pop Detective pins and still have them. The multiple versions, the gold, but then the white with the black.
Oh,
Love
the
this
rare
tune.
gold.
Love
Gold.
it.
Yeah.
Wore it with pride everywhere I went in my whatever. I would transfer them from jacket to jacket so I could wear them.
Yes,
Well,
indeed.
Garrick was commenting recently in another interview we did about the number of times over the course of our career that we felt like the right people have just come along at the right time when we needed them to. And honestly, both of you guys fit right into that
Amen.
category and that story for us. I mean, like,
Yeah.
IPO was part of our finding an identity as a band, because in truth, the whole thing about us and Power Pop wasn't that we ever were running from the Power Pop title as much as that we were unaware that there was a Power Pop fan base that would embrace the Jellybricks when they heard us. So we were just like, oh, really? Who are these people, these nice people? And they would live where? California? Oh, we should go there. Things like that. And Mark, you as well. I mean, I feel like we've known you a lot longer than we have known you, because you were just like a total mensch the minute we met.
No, it just brings me a lot of joy when talent rises. If I can help out a little, it's the same. I did the same thing with John Fay and Brittany. They couldn't. John called me up after you guys had the success on there, and he's like, how did you do that? How do I get? I've been trying forever. I can't get on the Underground Garage. And I said, well, we could throw Pop Detective name on it, and it's your hard work. Maybe Steve, and damn if they didn't get a coolest song in the world. Literally 2 weeks after that conversation, we stamped it and sent it off to little Steven.
We love him. And actually, you were talking before about our connection with him. Right when I joined the band is when these guys met John, I think at IPO,
Mm-hmm.
and that was right about the time when I started hanging out with these guys, and they were telling me, oh my gosh, you got to listen to this guy, John Fay. John Fay Power Trip has this new record out. He was in the Caulfields. So, we were all fans right away, and even a little bit nervous to like meet John and tell him how much we loved his music. But and then eventually we struck up this huge friendship with him, and Eventually, I became the drummer in his band Ike. Which
You've
was
done that
an
twice
awesome
now.
Experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But just to get that little connection, like how that sort of happened, I joined the Jellybricks first, and we were kind of in awe of John's writing, and then became friends with him. And eventually, I got to play with him for a couple of years, and we're still friends with him. And actually, Ike is going to play some songs at the end of this year for John's birthday party. I'm not going to say.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He probably would be mad at me, but
Mhm.
And I know he and Brittany did a reunion show not too long ago.
shoot, forget that. Edit that out. This live. Oh, no, darn. That's not what I said.
I think another name that you can add to the list is Bruce Brodeen.
Oh yeah,
Not lame.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's thinking back on it. It's really nice that everybody's still. I mean, these are still people we consider friends. You guys.
Isn't that the beauty of a lot of this? Is everybody along the way, we're still kind of here, and we all support each other and still call each other friends, which is kind of cool in this community. Whether you want to call it power pop or alt rock or whatever it may be, or just the music community in general, but this kind of subsets, it just seems that everybody supports everybody, and that's a wonderful thing.
And we should say, I mean, Ray at Cool Cat Music.
Oh yeah,
Ray.
Oh, yeah. Ray's great.
And we got Terry Selders right off records. Love Terry. Thank you, Terry. And Stephen Eady, Primitive Records. I mean, all the way back to 1996, we were making $5 a week. It was awesome.
that's perfect.
We've had a lot of help from some wonderful.
Were you guys on that? Didn't Steven do a cruise of some kind? Were you guys
Oh
on
yeah,
that?
you gotta ask about that. I mean, how many people get to go on a cruise with a bunch of great acts and play music and hang out in your bathing suits?
It was awesome.
That was just this past April. We did the second year of the Underground Garage Cruise, and for us, it was thrilled to be asked to be on the cruise, but we were also just thrilled to be surrounded by so many artists that we've just admired over the years, and we got to meet them. And
Who else was on the cruise? Who else was on the cruise
Well,
that you admired?
something you guys would both, I'm sure, really appreciate is we got to do 3 shows on the cruise, 2 of just Jellybricks, straight up Jellybricks type shows, and then the third show was a theme show because they knew that we had learned an entire set of Beatles songs to ostensibly open for Paul McCartney in St. Louis a couple years ago, which as Garrick likes to say, was playing the sports bar right next to his arena stage.
It was associated with Fox
Yeah.
Sports Live.
Basically, you couldn't get into his show without walking next to us. So but we
It
were
was
there.
McCartney adjacent.
Yeah, but we were playing. We were hired to play Beatles material, not Jellybricks material for that. So, but they knew that, so they said, "Would you guys do a Beatles theme set with guests?" So we didn't really know what that would mean until we were fully on the ship. But amongst other things, it meant we got to back Peter Halsapple and Chris Stamey on a version of 8 Days a Week.
Nice.
Oh wow!
With like a rehearsal and a half. But it was amazing to get to do something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of acts playing. And how did I was just curious, how is that coordinated with so many people playing? Cruise ships have a big stage and they have a bunch of little areas also, right? That's got to be quite the coordination to say, hey, you're on tomorrow afternoon, 2:00, be here at the sound check.
Yeah, all credit goes to Sixth Man, which is the organization that organizes these trips and a bunch of other
Incredible. Yep.
cruises, and they have everything down like clockwork. We had schedules, we had a WhatsApp thread that basically everybody was on. We knew exactly where we needed to be when. If we needed equipment or we needed to be in touch with somebody, they were on top of it also. It really was, we worked pretty hard on the ship, but they kept things running so smoothly. We always knew where to be and when.
Yeah, they over communicated in a positive way. So every act everybody, like when you woke up, you knew what's going on today. I have to be here at this time and do this. I mean, they really knew, we're dealing with a bunch of rock and roll musicians. We really have to kind of make sure we tell them where to be. And they were great. They were perfect.
I just remembered I have to tell this because you guys are exactly the guys who would love a story like this. You were asking who else was on the cruise. One of the absolute highlights of the experience for me was one of the acts on the cruise was the Big Star Quintet.
Oh, wow.
At one point, I'm just walking through the ship, and this elevator door opens, and this tall, older, handsome gentleman steps out, and he's looking right at me, and he just says, "You." And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Are you in the Jellybricks?" And as I'm looking at him, I realize, I said, "Aren't you Jody?" And he says, "Yeah, Jody Stevens." And he said, "I really like your band. I heard you around the corner the other day, and I just had to stop and listen to what you were doing. You guys are great." And in the moment, I just said, I blurted out, "We've ripped so much stuff off from you guys." And he says, "Well, we ripped off so much stuff from the Beatles." And I said, "So have we." He said, "Well, we're the same then." Anyway,
what
really
a great experience.
genuine highlight. Later I was like, I can't believe that happened. How cool.
But we on the cruise was also Social Distortion. There was Michael Monroe. The Buzzcocks were on the cruise.
And the mighty Red Cross. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
were
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And, I mean, there were so many great acts, and unfortunately, because the cruise is so short, and we had 3 gigs, and we had 2-hour rehearsals for our Beatles set. So, and the first day we didn't really have too much going on, so all of that was sort of compressed into like 3 days. So there were a bunch of bands that we got to see, but there were a bunch of bands that we unfortunately did not get to see because we had other things going on, or it was the kind of thing where, you know, we had like 2 hours. You could go see some shows, or maybe you should eat because you might not get to eat for the next like 5 or 6 hours. So there were those kinds of choices that we were making. You know, the typical kind of like music festival thing where there's multiple stages going on. You have to make these choices of like which band, what artist you're going to go see. It's a nice problem to have, but then when you throw in rehearsals and everything else, it was
Well, it had to be great for the fan too, the person that bought the ticket to go on the cruise. If they were a fan of all these bands, that's fan. Not only do you get to see them, but literally walking around the ship or going to eat, you can see them sitting next to you having some food. And
Low Cut Connie was on the cruise too, and we got to play a show with them yesterday in Harrisburg. So that was also fun as well. It was great.
Wait, which band? I'm sorry.
Low Cut Connie.
had Connie out of Philly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar.
But yeah,
Yeah.
talking about the power pop community on the ship. You know, I've been on a couple of cruises, and you know, people mostly try to keep to themselves. But the thing that was great about this, it was like a floating music festival. You start seeing the same faces at the different venues, and you start making friends, and people are just talking. Yeah, and it doesn't matter whether you're a performer or you're an attendee. Everybody's just kind of hanging out and enjoying the music that's on stage, and just everybody just having a good time together.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I would add also too, what's really cool is like the sound check portion of it, because like I got to see the Mooney Suzuki do their sound check with like 50 other people. I got to see Red Cross do a sound check, but people were coming to our sound checks. We'd have like 40, 50 people just at sound check to listen. And it
Wow.
was super
it was
cool.
So fun.
It was
so
great.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not the only one who had never even been on a cruise before and didn't really know what it was going to be like. And the thing that I really was struck by the time I got off the ship was that I didn't actually encounter a single rude person the entire time. I
Oh,
was on
wow.
the ship. It was just nice people who were happy to be there and being nice to one another the whole time.
I've been on a lot of cruises, and yeah, people are wonderful. But I think a cruise like that, where it's like a music festival on a ship on the water, where they're all there for a singular purpose.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, it brings everybody down together, because I'm going to have a great time with all these acts. And because when you go on a regular cruise, you're there for a certain purpose, but it's not. I really don't care what the Johnston family's doing over there, you know, because we're not all tied into the thing. But you know, did you see the Jellybricks last night? Yes, I did. And back and
Everyone's
forth.
biggest problem was trying to figure out like what their schedule was going to be for that day of like for seeing all the bands. Everyone's just in a fantastic mood. It was wonderful.
But yeah, speaking of the commingling between the artists and the fans, you spend a lot of time walking around the ship having people say, "Hey, you were great last night," and that is really nice.
Yeah.
It really did introduce us to a whole other audience, being able to play to these people who, you know, we never get to their towns. And,
Right.
you know, we heard so many times, I caught you for the first time, didn't know a thing about you, and they came to our next show and made it a point to come see us. And in fact, we noticed weirdly since we've come back from the cruise, there has been somebody who has been on that cruise at every one of our shows since then.
From out of state.
Some have driven.
Yep.
We found out somebody drove as far as from Buffalo.
Yeah.
This last one. which is
Yeah.
Like a 5 hour.
That's
5 hour drive. Yes, it was like I saw you on the cruise, and we saw you were playing in Harrisburg, so we made the 10-hour round trip to come see you play.
holy cow.
Whoa,
Yeah,
Holy
that is
cow.
wonderful.
yeah, it was awesome.
I have to say too, we were really given a gift being able to do that Beatles themed show, because we were definitely a little band on that big roster of bands as far as the
way down
the
in the bottom,
notoriety.
way down.
And but putting us in the center of this Beatles show really put us in front of a lot of people who might not have seen us otherwise. And the collaborations also, I should mention, we got to do Across the Universe with John Auer from the Posies. We got to do with a little help from my friends, sung by Mike Mills from REM,
Oh,
which
wow.
we'll be getting over that one for the rest of our career.
With Warner Hodges on guitar from
Oh, from Jason and the Scorchers.
Yes,
Look at
sir.
that. Yeah,
Greatest
holy
dude
cow.
ever.
I mean, that was really something we could not have scripted for ourselves.
And the other cool thing about our Beatles show was the last night. It was almost not the last show on the cruise, but almost one of the last shows. So a lot of other bands, they didn't have any more shows to play, and they're like, "Well, we love the Beatles. Let's go to this show." And we didn't know this at the time, but when we were playing the show, the Buzzcocks were in the audience.
Wow.
Social Distortion was in the audience. Jesse Mallon, his band, they were in the audience. If we would have known a lot of this stuff before the show, we probably would have freaked out even a little bit more than we were already freaking out. But once we played the show, we knew that like everybody that sort of didn't have a gig and had already played, they all came to our show, which was awesome, and also super nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that whole Beatles thing up on YouTube at all, or can it be seen anywhere?
There are bits and pieces on people.
Bits and pieces. Yeah, I gotta check that out. I haven't seen anything on YouTube about that, but man, that sounds awesome.
Oh,
It was fun. It was fun.
And
Well,
speaking
and-
of sounding awesome, I just I would like to get in another track from Dreaming in Stereo,
Sure.
so people can we can take a stretch, get something to drink, but everybody can hear another track. This one is excuse me, a Larry Kennedy composition, Age of Stupid. Larry, where could that possibly come from? What led you down the road to writing a song called Age of Stupid?
Well, okay. The really personal reason has to do with having a friend who got so embroiled in conspiracy theories that conversations started to just become like banging my head against a concrete wall.
I knew it had to do with politics somehow.
And but the thing about it is, and I love this about it, if you write songs, occasionally you just get lucky and an idea almost deposits itself into your head like as a complete thought. And this was one of those. I was taking a walk and the thought occurred to me, you would not call the times we're living in the age of enlightenment. And the very next thought was you'd call it the age of stupid. And then with that came the hook. It just, welcome to the age of stupid. It started writing itself. And then I just pulled the phone out and started singing lines into the phone as I was walking. By the time I got home, all I had to do was get a guitar and find the chords that go underneath these words. And I had the song. Well, there were a few other things. I had to figure out how many anons go in verse 3. But
it's another fun, great track from the Jellybricks. It's off of the 2025 release, Dreaming in Stereo. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go again with the Jellybricks, Age of Stupid.
Welcome to the age of stupid. Stupid. Welcome to the age of stupid. I know a thing or two about a couple things. I gotta tell you all about a couple things I kinda know about. All of these thoughts I got them from a dude who knows. I got them from a place that you would never be so smart to go.
Age of Stupid, the Jellybricks here on Material Issues from their 2025 release, Dreaming in Stereo.
You
Man.
say that the song almost wrote itself, and it's interesting because a lot of the lyrics seem almost free associated. So I totally get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I don't mind admitting a lot of those lyrics are kind of things that somebody said to me that just played back like they had been stored in my head. It's like it's the voice of the conspiracy theorist, more or less, talking.
Yeah, no, it's a great track. And you mentioned about it came to your head and you pick up your cell phone and you start humming or talking lyrics. Is that a process for you most of the time? Is the
nowadays
the cell phone?
Yeah, nowadays, because I mean, I'm not as often just sitting around strumming a guitar, but I get an idea and I know better than to let it fly away if it's good. Like if I hear it in my head and I identify, I mean, I actually think in terms of that song. I mean, I heard it like a record in my head. Like it was like a finished, it's not exactly the way it sounds on the finished record, but pretty close.
But it's
like
better,
that's a
right?
record that
Like,
I need to
Brian Wilson used to. Yeah.
I will not compare myself to him on that level, but sure. I don't think I've done anything.
I mean, so that sounded like it came pretty quick and easy for you, Larry. But how about you, Bryce? Do songs come quick and easy, or do you struggle over them for a length of period of time?
I think sometimes they do come pretty easy, but like you were talking about the voice memos and the notes, like I have hundreds and hundreds. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll be like, oh, I'm liking this, but I can't get to a guitar and maybe I just can't really document it. But I'm like, I'm sure I'm going to remember that tomorrow. I'm sure that will still be in my head. And then tomorrow comes and I'm like, damn it, it's not there. So, I mean, it just depends, but it's usually like I don't know if it's lyrics first. I think it depends. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, sometimes it's a riff, sometimes it's just a progression. There's no like certain rhyme or reason, so to say.
And Tommy, I know you're while you're busy back there playing drums and singing harmonies, does your mind wander during the song and you come up with other ideas while you're doing that? Because besides Larry and Bryce, which we know written a bulk of the tunes, Tommy also writes some songs, and there's a track I'd like to finish up tonight with Tommy's track, Devil's a Day Away from Dreaming in Stereo, which I absolutely love that track. But how's your process as a drummer?
Yeah, so when I first joined the band, I mean, everybody in the band was writing, so it was certainly kind of a thing where it's like, well, you don't have to, but it's absolutely welcome if you have some ideas for some songs. So I mean, most of the songs I write, well, actually all of them, I write on guitar. And, like Bryce said, you have some that they come together pretty quickly and others that don't come together as quickly. And this next song that you're kind of getting ready to play, I'll set it up for you here. I mean, when we were writing songs for for our last record, it was during the pandemic when we started to write songs, and we were trading songs via email back and forth saying, okay, here, load my demo track into GarageBand or Logic and add some drums or whatever to it. So if you think about sort of the lyrics of this song, it was written during the beginning of that, the idea of kind of everything could be taken away from you very quickly, because it was all, that was the last time I went to a show. And now I don't know if I'm going to see a show for like another 2 or 3 years, depending on it was the last time I'm going to see this person because I can't go see them in person. All these things were just sort of taken away from us. And I started writing the song and kind of like the idea of that, the devil could be chasing you down at any time and sort of taking these things away. And the fact, I love the idea that he was kind of I put him in a car chasing you that was on fire. So this imagery, I mean, I was raised Catholic, so you can see where some of this stuff came from, recovering Catholic. And it was all with the idea that like things can be taken away from you. And it's very easy to kind of interpret the song in a negative way, but it's also kind of, I was looking at it like, enjoy things when they're great, because at any time things can be taken away from you. Even the song doesn't necessarily spell that out, but it sort of gives the listener the choice that they can make whether they want to dwell on the devil chasing them or the good times while they have them.
So you're saying Satan will be waiting?
Yeah, like all great songs, great rock songs I make jokes are written about Satan, and this is for all our metal fans out there.
And Garrick, I've got to ask, do you write a lot of songs, or do you bring them to the guys and they say, "Hey, thanks, Ringo. That was cute."
Oh,
Because I think you're underrepresented. I don't know your story, whether you are actually writing jazz compositions that don't fit with the Jellybricks, or because you're an accomplished bass player. I'm sure you've got things going on that maybe are a little bit different. But what's
Yeah, I mean, I do write. I have like these guys. I also have a voice notes app full of song ideas and things like that. This is actually the first album that I don't have a songwriting credit on.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
But like Garrick is a master arranger behind the scenes. Like even like my song "Devil's Day Away," there are some things some suggestions that he had for the arrangement that we have him in the final version and it improved the song. There are some things where Garrick heard a song and said, "Hey, this ending, we got to come up with something better for this." So there's a lot of direction that he has behind the scenes that then we just didn't, give him a songwriting credit.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Garrick, maybe they're trying to tell you something.
and the Ringo joke just came to my head. I didn't mean anything personal.
I love it.
I just thought it was really funny.
well, I will add to that so Garrick has contributed to a lot of songwriting over the long course of the band, and he's actually one of my favorite lyricists, but it's difficult to get him to do it for you because you do have to appeal to him like, "Garrick, would you please write some lyrics for this?" And then he either will or he won't.
I don't like that song. I'm not gonna write lyrics.
But the other thing is, we really do saddle him with the lion's share of our visual representation as a band. So like the album covers you're looking at are largely Garrick's work, and same with our videos. So his contribution is very weighty and very visible to our audience.
Yeah, it's important to note that we won an award for the Dreamy in Stereo video, and the only thing that Bryce, Larry, and I had to do with it was we picked our Lego characters out. Everything else was Garrick.
Everyone's the Garrick, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
So I loved that video because I had almost nothing.
Even
I do need to mention my collaborators on the video.
But you walked up there on stage and accepted the award, didn't you? Huh? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We let Garrick do the talking.
go ahead, Garrick, say that. You want to say about your collaborator?
Yeah, I just
sorry.
want to say the Dreaming in Stereo video was directed by my good friend Nick Brazzi, and actually flew out to California to do that. We were working for about 3 or 4 days in Santa Cruz. It's basically a Lego animated thing, but it's all done with real props and real backgrounds. His wife Luna and I were sort of like working props as he was working the camera. Actually, we were all working the props, but it's all one shot, all in real time. But yeah, I have to give him credit for setting.
That's amazing video. It's a great video. So
Thank you.
people watching haven't seen it. Look it up on YouTube. Dreaming in Stereo video, Jellybricks. Jellybricks.com has links to everything. I'm running that across the bottom of the page. You can find everything Jellybricks related there. But before we get to playing Devil's a Day Away and kind of wrapping things up tonight, because we won't keep you too late. What's the future hold for the Jellybricks? What's in the works and what's happening right now?
This is it. No, I'm just kidding.
This is it? Yeah, great. Next Sunday will be the Jellybricks again. They're just so darn bored that they want to be back on the show.
No, that's not true.
Well, we're right now working on we're working on some re-release ideas for some of our earlier material. We're actually working on new material, but we're also looking at maybe giving some of our older stuff a brush up and getting it back out so that's more easily obtainable.
Vinyl releases maybe on some of them.
That is exactly what we're thinking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can't
So
say
Nice.
everything officially, but you could maybe infer what we're talking about.
yeah, I mean, nothing is set in stone, but that's where we're kind of going right now. I mean, we definitely plan on making more new music. We're still having an awfully good time doing it as a band. So, and we've said this a lot too, but the record before this one was called Some Kind of Lucky. That's sort of our attitude towards our career as a band, and we're enjoying it while we can still do it. So,
Well, there's always a certain amount of luck involved, but what it really comes down to is being good at what you do, and you guys really are. You have been for a long time.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
I just have one. I have a couple of questions before we hear the song.
Sure.
And I've never asked a band this before, but Mark had talked to Tom about, when you're drumming, do you think about song ideas and everything? Are you able, when you play, and I'm talking to all of you now, can your mind actually wander to anything like, what are you going to have for dinner after the show? Or, oh my God, I got into a fight with my wife and this is terrible. And you're still up there playing and having, showing that you're having a good time. Can your mind, do you know your stuff well enough to where your mind can wander?
Definitely, but it's a dangerous path to go down because sometimes you're on autopilot and you realize you maybe missed a chorus or.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to playing drums, one of the things that I love about playing drums is that your mind kind of goes. You don't really think about too many other things.
I get that. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like, I mean,
a lot going on.
I've heard people talk about like who ride motorcycles talk about that. Like you just concentrate on that and you don't really think about anything else, which is a wonderful thing about playing drums because it can kind of take you away from all the things that are bothering you. I find that the older I get, the more I concentrate on a part, the more I'm going to kind of mess it up. You kind of have to you're better off just sort of just playing with your band and not thinking too much about the part that you're about to play, making sure that you know it in the first place and you have it rehearsed. But I try not, the thing that I love about it is I don't really think about anything else but playing drums when I'm playing drums. I certainly don't think about writing songs when I'm playing drums. But I don't know. Bryce, what about you?
I find myself like a lot of times I'll start to look at the set list and I'll be like, oh shit, that's up next. Oh, that was the bridge. So like I get distracted by what I'm going to play next. And then unfortunately what I was supposed to play was maybe a little bit not right.
Well,
so it happens,
The thing I would say for me, particularly since you played Age of Stupid, so that's a good example of a song. I have a few songs that just have a lot of lyrics, a lot of syllables. And I've never really had a problem composing, memorizing, and delivering stuff like that. But if I allow myself to ask the question, do I know what I'm doing? I'm in trouble. I mean, and it's without fail. It's like, if you're a person who walks a tightrope, not looking down. And for me, I step up to a microphone and spit out the lyrics of a song like Age of Stupid, no problem, unless I question whether it's going to happen or not. And then I run the risk of forgetting where I'm at.
Yeah. I will say, playing drums, you're, in the back, sometimes you're even up a little bit higher. I do see all the stuff that people are doing. So even though I'm trying to play drums, if someone in the audience does something, insane or crazy, or like we do notice those things and we will point them out to each other on stage and enjoy that moment between the four of us. Whatever that means.
The other question I had was, as long as you guys have been around, you've seen advances in technology and you've obviously utilized them. Has that changed your approach to making records, or do you still do what you did? I mean, obviously you didn't use Pro Tools on your first album, for example, because there wasn't that.
Why do you say that, David? What do you mean by that? No,
obviously.
No, I mean, how much new, some bands want to keep it vintage, and no matter what new technology is around, they want to go into a real studio and use vintage equipment. And others are like, wow, look at what we can do now. Let's do that. Over the years, have you embraced the new technology a lot, or have you just done what you used to do?
We embrace what works for us. Tom mentioned, during the pandemic, we went over a year without actually physically being in the same room together,
which was great. Don't get me wrong. Go ahead, Garrick. I'm sorry.
Advantages to that, but everybody was writing, and the first thing we did was everybody got an upgraded, MacBook. We all got GarageBand, and we just passed files to each other.
Yeah.
That way, it's something we could never have done without that technology. We were able to stay writing and collaborating. We would have Zoom meetings to talk about our songs, and we would just, put everything together remotely, which, we couldn't have done.
But I think that's actually a really great question for our band in particular, because I think we're kind of an interesting hybrid along those lines, in that Garrick in particular is very forward thinking when it comes to technology. He's very naturally curious about whatever is new. And I am like the oldest stick in the mud in anybody's band who's got the same amp, the same pedals, the same guitar, everything that I started with in 97. And I'm like, it ain't broke, so don't fix it. So we have a constant little bit of a tug of war within our band between like the old stuff's great, we don't need to try it, and let's try this new thing. Why not?
It's funny, right before this call, I was telling the guys about this new drum system that can turn an acoustic drum kit into an electronic drum kit. And it's this new, this whole new technology that's available. So we do keep up with a lot of it, but we do try to still, play and record as a real band when we're paying attention to that. One of the things that's great is when it comes to the demos, because when we first started, you would have to record stuff on a 4-track and then ping pong everything down and do a mix for each individual member of the band. And it would take you like an extra 45 minutes or an hour to mix everything. And now we can, in our rehearsal space, we can record stuff in real time, and Garrick can immediately send a mix to everybody and they can have it on their phone and listen to it on the way home. So that part of technology is awesome because we can exchange ideas a lot quicker.
I was just going to say real quick, David, I think maybe you were angling more towards the recording aspect of that question. Yes,
I was actually,
because I can tell you, working with Jeff Sanoff at Renegade Nation for this last record, we did more old school than maybe we've even done in the last couple, because we tracked every song completely live, not even a DI on the bass. It was a mic'd up bass cabinet. Everything was mic'd, isolated. We played everything live with a scratch vocal. So there's a lot of organic.
Yeah,
these are the tapes.
Sounds great. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what we like. We're obviously looking to get the rhythm tracks first, drum tracks, bass tracks first. You keep a rhythm guitar perfect. We did keep a good number of rhythm guitars, I believe, but that was super cool. In a room like that with a guy like Jeff Sanoff recording live, 13 tracks, we did them in like what, 3-4 days, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So it was a good time.
Yeah, and we want to acknowledge Jeff Sanoff, who produced the record with us, as well as Mike Waskovich here in Harrisburg, who helped with the engineering of that record. Those guys.
It's got a great sound to it.
Thank you.
When you hear a release from whatever band it may be, they all have a distinct sound to it, and when you hear it's done well, it's greatly appreciated. And that your album is really done well. It sounds great, top to bottom.
Thank you.
We're very fortunate to have
agreed. Yeah,
very talented people helping us make our records.
Now, is there any truth to the rumor, though, you guys were talking, because it's been bandied about, but you're going to be doing a nude cruise next year, and you've built it's right here. You've billed yourselves as the petroleum Jellybricks.
Here's a funny story, actually. When during one of our sound checks, one of the sound guys was telling us that the reason they were a little late getting in, like the ship was a little late, leaving port and getting the venue set up, is because the previous themed cruise on that ship was a swingers cruise.
Oh my God!
They had to clean up the sex rooms and get all the Jello out of the hot tubs.
God, I hope they clean them.
Lots of sanitization.
Yes. We were. The funny thing is, before it was the orgy swinger cruise, it was also the kiss cruise, like the
oh my God,
the kiss cruise on. So yeah, so
oh
all
my
the
God,
rooms are full of, we hope, just white makeup.
Yeah, reminder, next time take a black light to check your room, right?
Once we found out about
everything smelled clean to me.
It was actually to everybody's credit, Norwegian Cruise Lines, it was a fantastic.
No, they were
that's a good cruise line. Yeah, that's a good cruise line.
Yeah, but apparently
We're
there
just
are
kidding.
cruises for everything.
I know. I'm just having a good time. Petroleum jelly hit me in the head for some reason. I had to make something up quick, but
we'll consider any offers.
Turns out you didn't make anything up. That's actually going on.
It's actually what's going on. All right, well, let's get to the third and final track from the third songwriter from the band, Tommy's track, "Devil's a Day Away." It's from Dreaming in Stereo. Here's the Jellybricks on Material Issues. 3, 2, 1.
I think I've lived a lifetime in the day I'm living in. Tomorrow comes too late, and I keep paying for my sins. For anyone who thinks the time's a side will burn the clock down, waiting for their hero to arrive. So I run, but I feel it chasing me down. If the world's gonna end, then I'm leaving this town. The devil's just a day away from where you are, flying through the red lights in a stolen car. Put your pedal to the metal, your time is running out. So much for the time we all pretend we're not alone, and all my friends are so strung out. So I'll be leaving home. First it was a calm, but then it settled into blue. And all this time we're missing out on trying to miss you. So I think that you might be picking it up. Hope there's gas in the tank, or we're shit out of love. The devil's just a day away from where you are, flying through the red lights in a stolen car. Put your pedal to the metal, your time is running out. It's closing in on you just like the morning sun. Nowhere to hide and nowhere to run. The devil's just a day away from where you are. The devil's just a day away from where you are, hot on your trail in a burned out car. The time is running out, so let's give it one last shot. Closing in on you just like the morning sun. No time to repent for the bad things you've done. The devil's just a day away from where you are. Just a day away. Just a day away. Just a day away. Just a day away. Just a day away.
Devil's a Day Away, the Jellybricks, Dreaming in Stereo.
The repetition of the title in the refrain is such a great hook. It's like still in my head. It's going to stay there for a while.
Awesome.
You know, so many Jellybricks things are probably available out there on Bandcamp and Amazon and every place you can find them. Across the bottom of the screen, thejellybricks.com. Everything you need to know, links to videos. Guys, we've been friends for a very, very long time, and it just makes me so happy to see your success with everything you got going on. And
Absolutely.
you know, I love each and every one of you, and I hope our paths cross physically one of these days in the near future.
I only love 3 of you, but I'm not going to say which.
I love that.
I feel the same way.
Oh yeah, well, so do I.
That's very reflective of getting our sense of humor.
You're in the band.
So we
It's
love
all
you
good.
guys. You guys have been in our corner, both of you, for a long time, and it
Yes.
means the world to us.
It's been a pleasure, believe me.
Yeah, absolutely. And
You've given me so much pleasure with your music, so thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
indeed,
Thank you.
indeed. And we look forward to whatever the future holds. Dreaming in Stereo, it's still got a lot of mileage on it. So if you haven't picked it up, guys, get out there, Bandcamp, Amazon, wherever you find it, pick up the physical copy. We love if you buy physical copies; it's the best. But check them out. Underground Garage, Little Steven, Sirius XM Channel 21, Wicked Cool Records, Jellybricks.
And
Thanks so much.
Book your tickets for the nude cruise because that's going to sell out quickly.
Gonna sell out quickly. It's all good. Thanks again, guys. Have a super night, and we'll check you soon.
Yeah, thanks
Great
very
night.
much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys. We
Thank
love you. See you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. The bricks of jelly. Yeah,
The
great.
bricks of petroleum jelly.
Petroleum. Now it's gonna that joke's gonna live on for a few weeks at least, I think. But great guys, very talented band,
They're super
talented
people.
songwriters, musicians, and just super people. So we're real glad to have them on Material Issues and get to play a number of tracks from Dreaming in Stereo. Great stuff. But that was a great night. That was a great show. Enjoyed that. Is it getting late over there in Inverness, David?
Oh my God. It's it's past midnight, and normally that wouldn't be so bad, but after this long IPO tour, with I can't even remember, Liverpool, Stockholm, Glasgow, Milan in between, and now Inverness. I'm spent, and
all right. Well,
I mean, I could stay in this apartment for another week easily and just walk around the town. I've really been looking forward to going home, but now it's like, well, if somehow we got stranded here for whatever reason, if the airlines went on strike or whatever, I could live with that.
right. You can hang out for a little while, right?
Yeah, just relaxing here. It's just, like I said, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness, I am looking forward to getting home. Well, I'm looking forward to being home. The getting home part, 2 flights. The second one being, an 11-hour flight, basically.
Yeah.
We had good high-speed Wi-Fi coming out to London from LA. So it's also another British Airways flight. So I'm hoping it's the same model, not one of the older ones that, oh no, there's no Wi-Fi on this one. I'll just, because I can't sleep on a plane. I mean, maybe I'll get 10, 15 minutes at a time.
Unless you're in some super fancy first class or big reclining thing like a bed, I can't sleep on a plane either. I can't get comfortable. I'm 6'3".
Yeah.
There's no place to, unless you got a whole row, luckily to yourself for some reason.
Which never happens anymore.
That never happens. That's a fantasy.
No.
But it's really hard to sleep on a plane. I'd have to take a lot of drugs and a couple of
I may actually do that. If they don't have Wi-Fi, I'm taking NyQuil and just hoping that knocks me out a little bit.
All right, well, let's talk about who we got coming up, because we got a lot of great shows coming up. If
I can remember.
Yeah, well, you got to put your big boy shoes on next week and introduce our second member of the Shoes going to be on the show.
Yes, we have Jeff Murphy a few years ago, and now we have guitar. Well, they're all guitarists, but we've got guitarist, singer, songwriter of Shoes, Garrick, who has a brand new album out called Out Loud, and it came out a couple of weeks ago, and it's a good one. I mean, it's got his songwriting and vocal style all over it, and it's on the Shoes Black Vinyl label, and it's been getting really good reviews, and it'll be. I've known Gary for a long time. I haven't known him well, but we've communicated over the years, and Shoes has played IPO, and it'll be a real pleasure to have him on the show. We'll play tracks from the album, of course, and talk about his career. He was the one in Versailles. The Shoes' first full-length album was called One in Versailles. It was about Gary, who had gone to France to go to school, and so the Murphy brothers trudged on without him, but for that one album, and then he came back, and the rest was history. So it'll be good to have him on.
Good show, yeah, cool.
The following week, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have our first venue owner.
Yep.
And that would be what, July?
That's June 28th. June 28th.
Yeah. Yes. And the venue that he owns is Montrose Saloon in Chicago, which is where we do IPO and have done for the past few years. And we've had a great time there. And people love playing at that venue, mainly because of our guest, Eric Cheel, because he's a musician as well. He's got a couple of bands, or a few bands actually, the Bon Mots, Penthouse Suites, Who's This Mary he's in. So he knows exactly what musicians want and need when they have a really good venue experience. So and he offers that at Montrose Saloon for sure. Their staff is really great as well, and it's going to be enlightening speaking to him about the trials and tribulations of running a venue, because it's really hard work. There's a lot of pressure, and there are aspects to the business that we as spectators and also musicians really aren't aware of. They think that these clubs are making money hand over foot, and that's not the case, especially these days where any venue that still does live original music is it's hardly lucrative, sometimes doesn't even pay the bills. Right. Which is why so many venues are opting to go with cover bands, tribute bands, DJs full time. So live original music is falling by the wayside, and some venues fortunately are not giving up on it. I think especially those owned by musicians, because that's what they do, and so they want to continue to showcase it. And Montrose Saloon is one of those, and we're very, very grateful for any venue, especially me. With IPO, we need venues like that. So Montrose Saloon is not giving that up, and so thanks to Eric and people like him. But we'll find out a lot about what it's like to be a venue owner, and the good, the bad, and the ugly. So that'll be on June 28th.
28th, yeah. And then the day after the Independence Day, the 250th celebration of our country, July 5th. We could talk about this one all summer long if we wanted to, and another Beach Boys book on the horizon with another author.
Yes, another author named David. In fact, we had David Leaf, an author on several Beach Boys books, on the show a while back, and now we have David Beard, another DB, and he has a book. He has recently written a book called All Summer Long. I think there's a copy waiting for me at home when I get back. But he's been the editor of Endless Summer Quarterly, which is naturally a quarterly magazine devoted to the Beach Boys. He's been doing that for many years. He's certainly known many people in the Beach Boys camp, and he's certainly well qualified to have written a book on them. He's a really cool guy. I've been out to dinner with him, and this should be a lot of fun. And I think the book offers a perspective that, from what I've seen of it so far, I think the book offers a perspective that others don't. So that should be good as well. There's always something in every book on any band. There's always something that's new. So even though there will be things that have been gone over ad nauseum, and then there are other things that are unique to the particular book, and I'm sure there are going to be a few of those in this one.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, great.
Yep.
It's gonna be awesome. And then we got a couple of weeks, that the 12th and the 19th of July. Nobody booked at this moment. That could change every day. Something could change. So
we'll probably devote one of them to playing new music.
Yeah, at least one of them to new music, and maybe beat the bash, stump the bash.
Hopefully so.
Mash the bash. Anything we could happen.
I know what you did there.
Yeah.
You would be a really good tutor, I think, with that kind of humor. Anyway, so.
And then we finish up our actual schedule guest on the 26th of July, and we have to choose our words wisely.
You definitely chose wisely, getting this gentleman to be on the show. Somebody who we've both known for a long time.
Once again, yeah.
And he's certainly a very well respected musician. Been doing it for a while, still doing it. But in this particular case, we're having him on the show because it's another 30th anniversary, actually. In his case, for his album "She," and from 1996, and there's in tandem with that, there's going to be a vinyl release, first time ever, of the album to celebrate. And I think is it going to be a 2-record set with some extra tracks?
There's a couple different variations. There's your basic. It's a bifold, but it's your basic one with a couple extra things, and then there's a deluxe version with, I guess, a second vinyl in it with extra bonus tracks, CD, digital. Then there's a super deluxe that's got all kinds of papers and pictures. There's 3 big levels, so
I'll have to at least go for level 2, maybe even 3. So.
Yeah, he's putting out a really nice package for the 30th anniversary. Either way you go, whether you just get the CD or you go vinyl deluxe. I love that album, and
I'll definitely be doing at least some form of vinyl.
Something, yeah, indeed.
So we'll play tracks from the album, and we'll have him wax poetic as he well does, and it's been a pleasure to see him play. I had the pleasure of going to his home where he did a live show from there, and that was cool.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, he's known him for a long time. He really great guy, great musician. He spent time as we talked with the Jellybricks on the Pop Detective Roadshow, and it's just super. So I'm looking forward to that on the 26th of July.
Absolutely.
And that covers what we have on the schedule. Of course, that takes us kind of into August, and you never know. Going across the bottom, materialissues.com. That's the YouTube place. Subscribe there, or find us here on Facebook. Just type in on Facebook Material Issues. It brings you to the group. We've had a lot of people join the Facebook group over the last month with all your IPO stuff.
I've met a few. I've met a lot of people on this IPO tour. Usually during IPO, that's when I get the most friend requests.
Yeah,
and of all the IPOs, Liverpool brings out the most requests, but Glasgow and Stockholm brought out a few as well.
Yeah, indeed.
And members of bands who who prior to that I only communicated with one person. Since suddenly the other band members want to become Facebook friends, and there have also been a few spectators who I've met recently and befriended online, and that's been a pleasure. So. I thought I would go in and see who were my most recent friends, invite them to join the group, and many of them have. So that's been great.
And we've been here now. This is episode number 260. We were discussing early before the show that's 5 years worth of.
That's insane. I mean, it's the same that went for IPO. When I started that, I didn't think it would be. I really didn't think it would be something that I'd be doing for more than a year or two. And, here we are.
And here we are.
27th year happening in August in LA. And now, when you and I started Material Issues, we didn't know where it was going to go. I mean, it was your suggestion, and I thought it was great. And I'm glad that I came on board. And, when we started, we didn't even know if we were going to have guests. We thought, I think at first we thought it was just going to be you and me just joking around, talking about whatever. And that's, when we do that, it's always fun.
Yeah.
But then, having guests became a reality. And fortunately, we've had some pretty cool people.
We've had a lot of awesome guests.
From all throughout pop music history.
Yep.
I mean, we've had people who are in their 80s.
And we've had people who are no longer with us, who probably one of their last interviews was extensive interview was with us here on Material Issues. So go to materialissues.com under the live tab. That's where you can watch all of the 260 episodes after we sign off tonight. And we'd love for you to drop a comment, tell your friends about it. And we'll be back again next Sunday with Gary Klebe of the Shoes.
Yeah,
Talking about the
absolutely.
new album
Looking-
out loud. So
Very much looking forward to that. And
David, get some.
hopefully I'll be home. And hopefully
Yeah.
by that time I'll have recovered at least a bit. The jet lag is much worse coming back than it is going. So I'm sure I'm going to be napping. Well, I can't nap too much because actually this is the week where we wrap up the IPOCD
Oh, you got work to do. Yeah.
compilation. As of, well, I'll say this, as of probably 7 or 8 hours ago, we were full. We're not anymore. I'll just leave it at that. So we still have room for another track.
Yeah, maybe one track, you know.
Yeah. But, you know, fortunately, you know, it does take a lot of work, but fortunately, we have been able to fill up the compilation every year that we've done it. And we've got some really great tracks in this year. It's going to be, so Friday is the last day of submission. And then over the weekend, Rena and I will stack the tracks. We've had a lot of fun doing that for the past several years since she joined in on working on the compilation. We'll be doing that, and then we'll be handing them off on Monday to our mastering person, Alan Brownstein, who does a great job. And Steve Stanley will be working on the artwork and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I won't be able to do too much napping. So hopefully by Sunday, though, I'll be somewhat eloquent, and especially with Gary Klebe on. I mean, Shoes is one of my favorite bands of all time. So I don't want to see.
Interestingly enough, the cruise before the Jellybricks, Friday was the last day of submission as well.
There you go.
I'm full of it tonight. Well, David, get some rest and have a fun time tomorrow and a safe trip home. And we'll talk to you.
I appreciate that. And yeah, always fun.
We'll talk to you soon.
I'll say it first. Love to Ches and Audie.
Love to Rena. All right, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. We'll be back to our 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. UK time. Material Issues, materialissues.com. This is Mark saying good night. David.
Good night.